guys, it's Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and I saw a lot of buzz about Jelly Roll speaking at the Senate fentanyl hearing. And if you guys don't know, I am one of those huge, enormous nerds that watches C SPAN like it's my freaking job because y'all know I am a weirdo who loves the political kabuki theater. Because look, some of us have to like politics, so the rest of you don't have to. We can just disseminate and give our own funny spin to it, and then encourage you to go watch it yourself. But more personally, a lot of people's lives have been touched by addiction. I know my life personally has been touched by addiction. I lost my first husband to addiction, the father of my two oldest girls. And I don't know that you really understand what it's like to see someone right in front of you and lose them bit by bit to addiction, and then lose the possibility of them ever coming back because of that addiction. And then me personally, to be 24 and to have lost, basically everything because of addiction and to now be alone with a good support system. I did have a very good support system. So that wasn't an issue, but to be alone raising two girls with someone I had hoped to raise two girls with. Addiction steals you bit by bit and then altogether if you can't ever get away from it. And it's a problem that affects every class, every, race, creed, color. And I don't want any other family to have to go through what I've seen, you know, my family go through. I've seen other people go through. It's a devastation that ripples through so many people. And I really have so much just admiration for him coming up and speaking his piece because it's not often that we hear from someone, relatively famous but humble who will speak about things that maybe he's not proud of in order to help other people. So, without much more of me babbling on about myself, let's hear from Jelly Roll, which is really why we're here. And Senate, which is really why we're not here.
Forgive me, I'm a little nervous. I'm used to having a rock and roll band behind me when I have a microphone in front of me. During the time.
And I love how he is just so humble. I promise I will not pause every 5 seconds. I will not pausinate every 5 seconds, but humble, self-deprecating humor, that is the way to Mo's heart because that's what I use a lot in myself. But okay, let's continue.
Time that I've been given to share my testimony here, I think it's important to note before I start that in these 5 minutes I'll be speaking that somebody in the United States will die of a drug overdose, and it is almost a 72% chance that during those 5 minutes it will be fentanyl related. Having started that way, Chairman Brown, Ranking Member Scott, and esteemed committee members, thank you for having me. I know this is a bit of a curveball, but I like a little baseball myself. My name is Jason D. Ford, but to most I am known as Jelly Roll. It is important to establish earlier that I am a musician and that I have no political alliance. I am neither Democrat nor Republican. In fact, because of my past, my right to vote has been restricted. Thus far, I have never paid attention to a political race in my life.
I do so much this. This is not a political issue. Sorry, I'm going to get a little look, when you get the news that someone you know has overdosed, your world stops. the hope that you had that you were ever going to get that person back from the addiction stops. And with fentanyl, you might not have even known they were struggling with anything because they could just pick up the wrong pill. They could have thought that they were going to have a fun night. But you get that call. And your world stops. Your world stops. And I'm glad that he is making this not political because it's about families. It's not about Democrats or Republicans who both suck and blow. It is about these families who are losing mothers, fathers, brothers, sons, daughters. It's about my girls who lost their dad.
Ironically, I think that makes me the perfect person to speak about this because fentanyl transcends partisanship and ideology, gentlemen and women. This is a totally different problem. And I was speaking outside to the media, and I gave them a statistic that said 190 people a day overdose and die every single day in the United States of America. That is about a 737 plane. That's what about a 737 aircraft can carry. Could you imagine the national media attention it would get if they were reporting that a plane...
And all those families, I mean, those are entire communities of families just wiped out with devastation. I mean, because it's aunts, uncles, it's cousins, it's brothers, it's sisters, it's friends. It's everyone. That person whose life is lost, touched.
plane was crashing every single day and killing 190 people. But because it's 190 drug addicts, we don't feel that way. Because America has been known to bully and shame drug addicts instead of dealing and trying to understand what the actual root of the problem is with that. But the sad news is that that narrative is changing too, because the statistics say that in all likelihood, almost every person in this room has lost a friend, family member, or colleague to the disease known as...
Oh, you guys, sorry. The guy in the back, right? Let me pull up my handy dandy. Oh gosh. Okay, well, no, I can't. But the guy in the background that is not really holding it together, he's gonna get me.
is addiction. I've attended more funerals than I care to share with y'all. This committee, I could sit here and cry for days about the caskets I've carried of people I loved dearly, deeply, in my soul, good people, not just drug addicts, uncles, friends, cousins, normal people. Some people that just got in a car wreck and started taking a pain pill to manage it. One thing led to the other. And how fast it spirals out of control, I don't think people truly understand. So many people. Equally, I think it's important for me to tell y'all that I'm not here to defend the use of illegal drugs. And I also understand the paradox of my history as a drug dealer standing in front of this committee. But equally, I think that's what makes me perfect to talk about this. I was a part of the problem.
I know, squirrel brain. Because I hate dealing with uncomfortable feelings. I will do anything to avoid them, but he is so nervous you can tell his hands are shaking. But he is doing just a wonderful job. And Mr. Jelly Roll, Mr. Jason DeFord, thank you for talking about this. We don't talk about this enough. I mean, we talk about it, but you know, this is a perspective that we need to. This is something needs to get done. And I swear to God, if this is just another Senate kabuki theater thing, I will lose my damned mind.
I am here now standing as a man that wants to be a part of the solution. I brought my community down. I hurt people. I was the uneducated man in the kitchen playing chemist with drugs I knew absolutely nothing about, just like these drug dealers are doing right now when they're mixing every drug on the market with fentanyl, and they're killing the people we love. I'll be honest with y'all, my desire is to only get older and only do better and be better. I believed when I sold drugs genuinely that selling drugs was a victimless crime. I truly believe that, y'all. My father always told me what doesn't get you in the wash will get you in the rinse. Now I have a 15-year-old daughter whose mother is a drug addict. Every day I get to look in the eyes of a victim in my household of the effects of drugs. Every single day. And every single day I have to wonder if me and my wife, if today will be the day that I have to tell my daughter that her mother became a part of the national statistics. History repeats itself, gentlemen. Even in the 1990s, crack cocaine had long made its way into my middle lower class neighborhood. And at that moment, even as a teenager, you could have never convinced me in that moment that there would be a far bigger problem on the horizon in the form of a pharmaceutical drug. And then I watched opioids and Oxycontin burst onto the scene. I'm here to tell y'all that fentanyl is going to make the Sackler family look like saints. And I want to let y'all sit with that for a second. It is time for us to be proactive and not reactive. We were reactive with crack, we were reactive with opioids, and y'all are taking the first step at somebody in Senate finally being proactive. I truly believe in my heart that this bill will stop the supply and can help stop the supply of fentanyl. But in part of being proactive, gentlemen and women and ladies, I have to be frank and tell y'all that if we don't talk to the other side of Capitol Hill and stop the demand, we are going to spin our tires in the mud. Y'all are taking the first step, but I encourage you to take it outside of this room and you take it to your colleagues and your constituents and you give them the most that you can. I know I've got a few seconds here, and Senator Brown said I may or may not go over. All I want to say is that I not only encourage y'all to do this, I encourage y'all to take it a step further. At every concert I perform, I witness the heartbreaking impact of fentanyl. I see fans grappling with this tragedy in the form of music that they seek solace in music and hope that their experiences won't befall others. They crave reassurance. These are the people I'm here to speak for, y'all. These people crave reassurance that their elected officials actually care more about human life than they do about ideology and partisanship. I stand here as a regular member of society. I am a stupid songwriter, y'all, but I have firsthand witnessed this in a way most people have not. I encourage y'all to not only pass this bill, but I encourage you to bring it up where it matters, at the kitchen table.
You know, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, let's be real, guys. We all know someone. We've all lost someone. Sorry, I got the vapors. This is a hard one. Look, with addiction, you lose someone long before they actually pass away. The addiction can steal them. They don't act like themselves. They turn into someone you never, ever thought they would be. And then when they do pass, you lose that possibility that they could ever come back. And when he said that about his daughter, seeing my girls grow up, and they're turning into wonderful girls, knowing that they have a wonderful guy in Mr. Mo to be there as their dad, there is always a tiny heartbreak in my heart that their biological dad doesn't get to see that. This isn't going to have an easy answer, but that was wonderful. And if you a-holes in Senate can't get your heads out of your colorectal areas and figure something out to help, then I suggest that we vote Mr. Jelly Roll in, because he seems to have some better ideas. I would like something to get done. If the government's purview is not to protect its citizens, then I don't know why we have a government. But this was a wonderful speech. I know he was nervous. I know that he probably felt about a fish out of water, as you can be, but I think he did a great job. I think that those of us that have seen this firsthand, that have had to get that call, that have had to break that news, that have had to deal with the aftermath, we appreciate you taking our story. I do. So thank you very much, Jelly Roll, for taking our story, plain talking, normal, everyday, common sense, smart human beings going to Washington, trying to talk some sense into senators. Sorry for all the eye sparkles. Look, this one got to me, y'all. This one got to me. I was okay until the guy in the background and the 17 or the 15-year-old daughter, and then I was just gone. I was gone. So I'm gonna sparkle. But you guys, look, some things are hard, and it's okay to just have these feelings. These are hard things, and you know what? If you can find comfort in his music, if it gets you going, keeps you going, I say go download some Jelly Roll music. I might just do that. I haven't really ever watched some of his music, but I love him and Craig Morgan on Grand Ole Opry, and I love Craig Morgan, so, I was almost home. Now, that gets me in big old tears, so it might be emotional Mo Day. Who the heck knows? You know what? If you get a chance, and I'm just one person, but I might just tweet out on the X, on the twatters, on the Twitters, on the Xers. I don't know what it's called anymore. And I am just one person. I am a smallish, tiniest, weirdest person on the internet that, wears weird wigs. But I will be tweeting thank you at Jelly Roll for his appearance on the Senate, because that was probably the realest and most represented I felt on Senate in a long time. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.